And starting in 3, 2, 1. Good Friday, everyone. Welcome. My name is Bakar Obey, Coach Bobay World, and you are now rocking in on YouTube. Are we on Facebook too? On Facebook. We're live, baby. See your mastermind group. And I'd like to welcome my co-hosts and co-founders of the See Mastermind Group, Mr. Maurice Bay, the helpful trucker. How's it going, bro?
Man, I'm super tired.
Super
I
tired?
can't even lie, man. Drained, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
But we here, though.
But you're here, though. You're still showing up.
100%.
Love it. And, of course, our coordinator and engineer behind the scenes running it, the phenomenal financial conductor, our wonderful sister, Majida Bay. What's happening? Uh-oh.
What's up, fam? How y'all doing?
Lovely. And just joining the podcast is Nzinga. Hey. What's going on, baby? I love it. It is a family affair tonight. And of course, welcoming again to the show, maybe his third time in the last year with us.
No, you good, baby.
But happy to have him. Our younger brother, Mr. M. Bay Arts himself, Mensa G. Bay. Welcome to the podcast tonight, man. Tell us where you coming in from. Did he freeze on us?
Oh, no.
Hey, Mensa, move and show us a sign you're alive. Oh, there he is. All right. Hey, glad that you could be here tonight, man. Tonight, and we're gonna have a fantastic conversation. Do you know your family IQ? So we got all the family in here tonight. Glad you guys. What's going on, man? How's your week been?
Busy.
Busy? Talk about it. What's a busy week for?
What's not a busy week?
All right.
Every week is full, and between family and business and job and life, it's nonstop.
Y'all think life always used to be? Do y'all remember? I don't remember life being like that when I was younger, when I was a child.
No.
Going to school was easy.
Yeah. This adulting thing is like
Extra responsibility is what that is.
Yeah.
Y'all might be adulting. I'm under adult supervision. I gotta keep showing up around adult sister to stay sane. Oh man. So by the way, if you're on Facebook, you're in the See a Mastermind group, the public, please share, let a friend know that we're podcasting here live. You can catch the replays as well. I'm still figuring out this YouTube thing, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there. But we do have a See a Mastermind page, and you can catch all of us, Maurice, Majid, and myself. So why don't we start? Because tonight, man, we're having a question. What's your family IQ? I'll be honest, I didn't read all the descriptions, so you might have to help me out.
No, you're gonna have to help me out.
So the top, we've been doing it. We've been doing this podcast now for just about a year, and so we wanted to take this opportunity to actually let you know what our what progress we've made over the past year. What challenges we've had, and really how us coming together as a family has helped us to move forward. So IQ in this instance stands for implementation quotient. Yeah, not
right.
How well have you implemented over the past year? And then we're going to share with you all how we've been able to implement, hold each other accountable in this journey of telling our story. So that's it.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. You got to show up with certainty, right? Do your homework. But no, we're going to have a fantastic conversation as we lead. So, why don't we go around and just celebrate a few wins in the last year, man. Think about where you were last year, this time, right? A month into the pandemic, people scrambling, figuring out, man, what's going to happen tax time. Mensa, why don't we kick it off with you? Where were you a year from now? And I know you're not on the East Coast no more, so you got a lot to talk about. Tell us.
You got something to talk about.
You gonna clean his glasses.
I can see a year ago I was in Norfolk, Virginia, working. I was teaching and working at the museum, doing my own thing, trying to plan some things. What is it? We're in April now, so yeah. Now I was in the crib a lot. I was just in the crib, sulking probably, but chilling. And then, a year later, I mean, I made a lot happen though. Like after sitting in my sulking after a while, I made a lot happen through the year. So I followed up and followed through on a residency program I had scheduled the year prior. So I made sure that happened for me, so I could put that down for an experience of mine and have that on my resume CV. We followed through on an exhibition that was supposed to happen in April that just occurred in the last year to this year called Light from All Sides, and there's been a lot of events and things surrounding that. So that was based in the Hampton Roads area.
Hampton Roads area. Oh man, it looks like Mensa's having some signal issues. Margita, we'll come back to him. Oh no, do me next.
I'm right here.
Oh, all right, he's back. Light it up.
Exhibition, right? That occurred. I did a big mural in Norfolk before I left, which I was happy to do. A big asphalt mural that kind of brought the city together. And then planned my move to California, which had occurred. Got to California, did a mural when I got here, and it's been kind of making things happen from kind of in the virtual space since then. Keeping my activity with my my YouTube channel, Agency Arts, is still rocking. So we got some new activity going there, get some interactivity. Just been having some fun. Just been having some fun so far.
Outstanding, man. If you haven't realized, Mensa is an artist that MFA is not, a MF an athlete. No, he's a master of fine arts, right? He's in painting and putting up murals and just all over the country. All over the country. Look at you, little bro. Outstanding. Look, Majida, she's beaming. She's excited. Why don't we come to Majida? Oh, you muted. And not spotlighted. Come on.
So over the past year, I've definitely had a lot of growth. I've, like many people, had to transition into the virtual space, and I've embraced it. I'm learning how to use it. So I think one of the things that somebody shared with me is like not to let technology use you, but utilize technology. So I'm learning to utilize technology to improve my condition, to help me reach and connect with more people. I think over the past year, I might be off by plus or minus one or two. But I think I've gotten 10 new licenses over the past year in my business, just licenses in other states. So people that have been referred to me. So I'm licensed now in New York, Texas, Alaska, Wisconsin, Maryland, DC, New Jersey, where else? Louisiana, Ohio. I don't know if that's 10, but then I already had licenses in but those are all the new ones over the past year. Those are all the new ones. So that's been pretty exciting, just being able to reach more people, which has been a blessing, to be able to have more of an impact. My daughter's been growing in her gymnastics journey. So really excited about what's in store for her. Of course, you can see this one is, of course, growing up and
Doing the absolute most.
yes, as always. So I'm just embracing the journey. I really found my pace, if you will. Like I've found the direction I want to move in, and the pace. All right, thank you. I found the pace that I want to move and um, how I really want to show up. I think this past year has allowed me to really see what the possibilities are and work toward achieving them. You know, not limiting myself, not holding on to my old identity, but truly investing in myself. I've done a lot of that over the past year in different programs to just become better. So that's all I got right now.
Okay. Hey, don't discount it. Don't diminish.
That's all
diminish it,
Nzinga
man.
gonna let you share right now.
Right. She said they don't learn how to be on camera with us. Oh man, but congratulations to you. And I know that you've had some achievements as well. Won't you spotlight them? I know that you had like a signature month back in the fall, as well as just recently got recognized in our community with Breve University. Shout out to ETA and the Breve U community as this week's Lion of the Week. Vegeta's been showing up and getting some recognition in the ETA community. So, and that's no small feat. Like, let's be honest, that is no small feat. She's been showing up, contributing, sharing her wisdom, supporting and helping others across the country. So, kudos to you, right?
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I did have some milestones in business, as well as you mentioned, finding a community that like is an extension of my family. You know, like I really feel like that. Finding people who, I think a lot of times people look for people that think like them. Like when you're thinking what is perceived to be outside of the box, you're like nobody thinks like me. And then to be in a community full of people who think that way and encourage you to continue to think that way and strive to become the best version of yourself has definitely been a blessing as well. So just being affiliated and around people who are moving in the direction I want to move in, and from Breve University to woman-owned minority businesses, to even Mocha Moms. Those are like my sisters. When I just need to let my hair down, have a glass of wine, I can hop on a virtual, get together with them and paint or have a conversation. So it's just been blessing, just finding um, associations of people that share my values and things like that. So yeah, appreciate that.
Yes. I know sometimes you need somebody to remind you of all of the celebrations and the milestones that you hit over the last year, because it's easy to forget. That's why we got to make an effort to celebrate the wins. Maurice, Mr. Helpful Trucker, Mr. You got to give us the brand name. You tried it. For those that are listening to the audio, he just froze up like Mensa and attempted to fool the camera, but you only can catch that on the live feed.
I couldn't get you,
and the replay. No, you couldn't get me. Not this time. What's happening?
What's going on, bro?
Man,
how are you,
what's
sir?
happening to you? What's the last year been like for you?
Well, I ain't want to go right into me. I did want to be courteous and just at least say what's going on, bro.
Well, what's happening? I'm feeling well. I'm right. I'm here. We living live and we large.
Man, a lot. I've grown a lot in the last year. A year ago, I was ready to quit my job. A year ago, I was ready to get out of the truck. I was ready to be done. I was on a job that I didn't really like. So, I mean, I don't want to stretch it out unnecessarily, but, I was driving a truck for my pop a year ago. Been driving a truck for my pop for the last 5 years. And the truck was on a job that I just didn't like it. Just keep it short and sweet. I just didn't like the job that the truck was on. But my pop, the owner, wasn't really feeling the effects of that because he ain't driving the truck. I'm the one that's actually driving it, showing up to the company every day. So all of the stuff that's going on that's making me not like the job, he's not really seeing that. So he's not feeling the same sense of urgency to not be there as I am. So at that point, a year ago, I'm like, I'm ready to quit, man. Because if Pop ain't understanding that this place ain't where I need to be, then I'm ready to get out of the truck altogether. So I know I might be remember me talking that way. It's like, man, I got to get up out of here, right? So, but a lot has changed. I changed. My truck went on a different job in August that I like a lot better, that offers a lot more, the opportunity to make more money. And so that kind of got me thinking back in the lines of getting my own truck. So I just recently got my own truck just a couple of weeks ago. I bought the truck from my pop. So I've gone from just working for my pop to now actually officially owning my own truck. I'm an owner operator now. And I had a win this past week. I had a couple of wins this past week. I just bought a trailer. I don't know if I mentioned it to y'all on the last time we got together, but I just bought a trailer, my own trailer, about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. One day my poppy asked me, he said, yo, look, I got something else I need you to go and pick up as opposed to your regular pickup, right? So at the time, I currently was using a rental trailer, pay $150 a month to the guy, and he gives us, he rents us the trailer and he gives us the freight to pull in the trailer. So my dad tells me one day, he calls me, he said, look, I got something else I need you to do. I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. So I go and do it. It doesn't involve this other guy's freight, but it does involve his trailer. Soon as I'm pulling off of the lot of this company, I just finished dropping the freight. I get a call from the owner of the trailer, the person that we're renting the trailer from. And again, just to make a short story shorter, he is not really appreciating the fact that we're doing work in his trailer that doesn't involve him. And he's like, cool, but you got to let me know before you do stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, cool. Me, I'm a control guy, right? I like control. I don't like to be controlled. So it was all good. He wasn't a jerk about it or anything, but that was one of the main motives. It's like, I need my own trailer. Having my own trailer allows me to do work for whoever I want to. And can't nobody tell me you can't pull that because it's not their trailer. So I like control. I tell people all the time, one of the reasons I got my own truck, I want to make more money, but it's not just to make more money. It's because I want to be more in control of what I'm doing, my work, and how I'm making money. So I've put myself in a better position in my professional career to be in more control, to feel more secure with what I can do. YouTube, I've grown a lot on YouTube. A year ago on YouTube, I was somewhere around 6,000 or 7,000 subscribers. The next milestone for me on YouTube will be 25,000 subscribers. So I've grown a lot in the last year on YouTube as well. Paid off a lot of bills. My financial situation definitely could be a whole lot better. A lot of stuff still leaking out that shouldn't be, but it's a whole lot better than it was. I'm on much more of a budget financially than I was a year ago. Started 2 companies, started Y&M Acquisitions LLC and just started MT Bay Trucking LLC a couple of weeks ago. So I've had some significant changes in my professional career and in my creative endeavor as well. Helped a lot of people over the last year with getting started in trucking, getting started in the industry. So yeah, man, I've impacted a lot. I've done a lot. I put a dent in a lot of things. I've come far enough. I've come so far that it's like, sometimes you feel like turning back, but I mean, like I've come way too far. It's like, I've gotten all kinds of confirmation letting me know that, proof of concept that it's working, that what I'm doing is valuable. You know what I mean? Not succeeding like I would like to. I got to be honest with you, man. And I'll sum it up with this. But I was thinking about this today. Success is on the other side of failure. Success is not the opposite of failure. It's just on the other side of failure, which means that if I'm failing, typical mindset says if I'm failing, then stop failing and start succeeding. Stop doing what you're doing and do something else. But that keeps you starting over, doing new things all the time. Whereas it's like, if you can understand that, success is on the other side of failure. You just got to fail forward, just continue to fail faster, fail bigger. Right. And so, that's kind of where it is with me. I failed with my group with wanting to start my community over the last year, but I learned a lot from that. And there was significant growth that came from that as well, man. So I've definitely come far enough in my YouTube and my creative endeavor that I got to keep going forward. I got every reason to continue going forward. I just got to, it's like the first place horse and the second place horse. You know what I mean? It's like they both put in almost the same amount of effort, but the first place horse gets the bag, he gets the accolades, and the second place horse gets forgotten. But all he got to do is practice just a little bit more. He's, you know what I mean? He's not half as good. He just gotta push through just a little bit more, man. And I think that's where I am right now. I just gotta push through just a little bit more, get rid of just a little bit more of my doubt and hesitation and disbelief, and discrediting myself. Just get rid of just a little bit more of that, man. And I can take it to another level as far as my creative endeavor, man. So, and in addition to that, still been around on the Seer podcast a year later. So, yeah.
Awesome, man. That's a mouthful. So, and appreciate
every time I talk, it's a mouthful.
Well, you are the voice of the podcast.
Yeah, okay. Appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate that. And as y'all see, I'm looking around and I'm
but don't you? I know you're not about to do this, but now you know what I mean. I got to interview you. So, where were you a year ago, bro? Where you feel like you've been throughout the last year, and how you feel about where you are now in relationship to all of that?
Oh man, I appreciate
over the last year.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so this time last year, I was unemployed, living with my parents, still living with my parents, and let's see, had a business. So I guess self-employed, but was just gotten back from a visit, a week-long visit to California, and then the pandemic hit. And similar to what Mensa said, I had a whole lot of hope, but I went into a space of despair and like depression, you know. And I didn't, I was still showing up here. And thank you, and so grateful for you really initiating starting Seer, because this was the accountability. This is all the accountability I had, at that point last year. Man, I was curled up in a ball thinking I was going to trade my way to freedom. At the time I was like, man, I've been on the charts. I had some great demo. I demo for the month of March, and I was like, man, I'm about to go live here in April. And so began trading live, and had a good week. I was probably at the week where I had a good week this point last year before things begin to go the other direction. So this time last year I was hopeful. While being unemployed or self-employed, I realized, man, I wasn't getting the returns in my financial services business that and it was about time to let it go. So just really stopped showing up for that and started showing up, working in the markets, working with my trade mentor, and really doing everything. Had a little bit of growth in that business. Was able to bring somebody into my team and organization that was really excited, and we were working together. And it was like, all right, there is, man, maybe this could happen. Maybe this is going to work for me. Fast forward a year, it didn't move out. It didn't really work out. And I realized maybe I was doing things out of order. Right. And so after, a few months of detoxing, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, there were days where I couldn't even get out of the bed. But I found it. Thank you again. Thanks to Seer, because I had to show up. Right. There was three of us.
I thought you were going to say you found Jesus. I just knew you were going to say you found Jesus. Go ahead. I'm sorry, bro. I apologize.
Oh, no. He found me a long time ago, man. We've been walking that journey for a long time, but I want to digress. Actually, that may come up at the end of this story, but was introduced to opportunity to begin teaching, which was in alignment with what I was looking for coming out of the pandemic. And so, tutoring has slowed down, of course, because schools shut down and everything. So I was really looking, all right, I could take my tutoring. There was an opportunity to teach and to teach virtually, which really gave me some freedom to continue to figure out, what I wanted to build from home. Teaching virtually also provided me with an opportunity to take a working sabbatical. So I went out to California and San Diego for 2 months, spent some time with my partner there, really got to see what life would be like moving out there. And I think that was also, since I made the decision to do that, and Mensa's partner was out there, I kind of say, hey, bro, like, you can do it too. And after I kind of laid out a plan for that, he was like, oh, yeah, I can see it. And then he went out there and said, I'm going to do it in January. I was like, well, shoot, go ahead and get it done there, bro. Which he did.
That's like Kanye and Jay-Z. Jay looking at Kanye now like, seriously, bro? Seriously?
Just
you already
like
out in Cali, huh? Seriously? You just gonna leave me here like that?
Just like that.
Got them Billies, huh?
But I tell you, that experience was really eye-opening and freeing for me to see, man, like, you really set your mind to something. And I'm sure you remember in the mastermind, man, I laid out an 18-month plan. I was like, all right, this first month teaching, I'm going to do these things, right? These are my milestones. And in the next 3 months, my target is to shift toward coaching. And then in the next 6 months, it's really to make that transition. And I'd say I'm on schedule. I'm absolutely on schedule. It's required a lot of personal investment. And I don't want to shy away from that. Like, I have invested nearly everything to be immersed in the future version of me, immersed in the vision and the dream of being, the proficient teacher and coach and, people and community developer that I envision myself to be, the teacher, the coach, the trader, the, family man, all of that. And so, really got immersed in those communities. It was really due to Seer. And I cannot stress this enough. If not for this group right here, if not for the people and the individuals here, like, you guys were the only ones that I really felt truly accountable to, because you were moving in the direction I was moving. And I didn't want to be that, that weak link. So every opportunity that I found to invest in myself, to level up, I was willing to make those tough decisions. And I acknowledge, like, everybody didn't like it. Okay. Like, when you making moves like that, it's not love. It may not be understood or recognized. But recognizing that, man, being authentically you, some people are going to reject it. Some people are going to disagree. Some people may not understand or see the sacrifice that you making, but recognizing, as brought up recently, you don't want to sacrifice the most important relationship. So, doing all of that work. So fast forward to 2021, I had an opportunity to join Eric Thomas's 120 conference. And I think that has been life-changing, because I knew what I wanted after getting some exposure, that I knew that the accountability that we did here every other week was good, but I needed it every day. And so joined the conference and started doing accountability every day with the community there, and recognizing it was also a gap that a lot of other people had. And from there, man, 28 days was able to create a business, have a following, have people that are raving fans of H2G. That's Habit to Greatness. You can find it on Facebook and on Instagram at Habit, 2 Greatness. All right. And it's also been a feeder, right, for my coaching program that I'm working now and developing to help people, one-on-one, to do some group work, and also be able to get out there in the future to do some, business workshops as well, helping people to identify, to turn their goals into habits, ultimately. So, man, the last 3 months have been just amazing, right? The last 3 months have just been life-changing, and it's growing into an entity that's, requiring every bit of my attention every day, while still remaining, true to my core values, my faith, my family, my personal fitness, as well as what are they? Oh, finances and fun. Yeah, on the path to freedom and fulfillment. So, yeah, seeing the fruit of the last 3 months, it was absolutely worth it for the strife and depression I went through to detox and get rid of all the stuff that wasn't going to come with me. Boom.
Awesome. I just want to chime in real quick before we move on. Like, okay, I don't know what. All right. She just hit me. Oh. Yeah, I was gonna say that I definitely improved my health. I started making some better health decisions. Like now I'm drinking like a smoothie every morning. I was exercising. I don't do that consistently. So I do need to get back to consistently exercising in the morning, drinking water in the morning. So and so yeah, I didn't mention that, but also like Makar mentioned, just investing in myself. You know.
I'm taking better care of my health as well. I'm going to get a massage tomorrow morning.
All right. Outstanding, man.
Hour and a half.
A whole hour and a half?
Had to do it, bro.
Oh, man.
I need to do that.
They're going to massage between the toes on that one, man. My man's going to be knocked out. Love it. I love it. But you know what? That part of the self-care, I think, is a critical component, man. There's a lot of people I'm seeing who made the most out of, what seemed like a really, really bleak situation or turn of events in 2020. Like it seemed like everything was falling apart, for a lot of people. I remember having conversations just on the podcast about how there are a lot of people who aren't seeing or taking advantage of the opportunity. And so speaking about our IQ, what was your plan? What did your plan look like this point last year? And I spoke a little bit to it, man. I had my 18-month plan and saying that I'm, appear to be on track, at least to make the move and to be moving into coaching full time. What about you guys? What did your plan look like and how have you implemented?
I thought we already talked about that.
Oh, is that what that was? Well, that's the podcast, y'all.
I would answer that the way I would answer that question is kind of the same. I mean, well, I guess I wouldn't say the same words, but I mean, my plan last year, my plan always is to act. I've spoken on this before, man. My plan is to act. I got things that I want to have happen. Where I am right now is where I don't want to say it's where I desired to be, but it's where I saw myself being a few months ago, right? What happened, I was just making a YouTube video today. What happened this past week, this week that we on right now that's closing out, was kind of what I expected to happen as of last week, right? I kind of saw what was going on and kind of knew what kind of week to expect this week. So I mean, I don't know if I want to call that a plan or not. You know what I'm saying? It's what I expected to have happen, man. But my plan is always to act. I feel like that's the only thing that's in my control. I'm talking a lot to this guy right now named Chris Ward, who's been talking a lot about starting a YouTube channel or building his YouTube channel. And every time we talk, he lets me know he's checking out my YouTube channel. He's checking out my analytics. He's like, yeah, man, your channel grew by X amount of subscribers in the last 30 days. He's telling me how much my channel is growing by. He's like, I'm watching you. And he keeps expressing the desire to get a certain result. But I mean, he hasn't asked me what my opinion of it is. But if he did, I would tell him he needs to stop focusing on the result so much. I would tell him he needs to focus on something that he has a little bit more control over, which is the action plan, which is what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Because what's gonna happen, we're not always in control of that. And you can get so focused on what you want to have happen that when it doesn't happen, you're discouraged from taking the actions. Now, I would say that anybody that's building something that seems to be building it it's difficult. You got to be really, 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 really careful about that in the early stages because you'll find yourself getting discouraged. So because of that, man, I find that action is the most reliable thing. It's the thing that's in my control. You know what I mean? I can't control the result, but I can control the action. So it's just like, and going back to Rocky movies, man. You know, I love Rocky movies because, you know, he got knocked down, but he always took the action to get back up. You know what I mean? So my plan was to act last year. My plan is to take the next step. I can't see too far in front of me, but you know what I mean? My plan is to take the next step. And that's been working. That's been working, man. That's been working. Sometimes when I hesitate and I don't take the next step, a lot of the times I realize in hindsight that it's because I was trying to look too far down the road. And because I couldn't see that far down the road, I felt a lack of clarity. And when I feel a lack of clarity, I don't do nothing. I don't do nothing. You know what I mean? So yeah, that course of action, that plan, I feel like has been working for me.
Good stuff.
Okay. And you know what? I want to bring up. Oh, we have it. All right. So, and I want to talk a little bit just to the, or as you guys are sharing your answers, to speak a little bit to the level of detail in your implementation. Like, you know, the idea of to act, you know, that moves forward. So envisioning, like getting to the point that you expect to be at by simply acting, to me shows, you know, a clear determination and direction on which way you're going, right? Without it being a whole lot of detail to the plan. Whereas I know for somebody like myself, man, I needed to map out a month, 3 months, 6 months, and to be able to course correct, you know, at different checkpoints. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So for Mensa, I'm curious to hear, like, how have you implemented? Because I remember hearing your plan last year, and I was just like, wow.
What was my plan last year? Oh, maybe when I started talking about my serious plan for getting to California.
Oh yeah.
Careful assessment of my investments.
Ooh.
Into myself, right? Kind of like I can relate a lot to what Maurice was just saying about when I take action, I usually get better results rather than when I kind of like halt or question what it is that I feel is good for me, or I want to explore. So like, was that today or was it last night? I'm gonna give an example. Like, my partner Elisa had told me about something yesterday. It was yesterday. She was like, "Oh yeah, it was this opportunity. Did you see it online?" I was like, "No, I checked it out. I was like in the middle of cooking. I saw it, and I was like, I can do that." And so by the end of that night, I had applied for it. And she was like, "What you doing?" I was like, "I just applied for that thing you told me about." She was like, "Oh, where?" I was like, "Yeah, like I read it. It made sense, and I had everything I needed to apply, so I just went on and did it. Didn't second guess it. Didn't question it. Contacted a couple of references, let them know that."
Dang.
Not again.
Dang.
Come back. Oh man, he was on the road. On the roll. So while he's getting reset, I know that we have a lot of different.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah, you back.
All right.
My Gita's gone now. Hey, let's keep the
We're
party going.
We're linked.
She knows what she is.
Yeah.
Y'all instant transmission in between each other.
Yeah, I did it last time. So, and knowing, how much I'm willing to give. Like, it was another opportunity. Let's get. I'm gonna get back more back online with the question. So, what was I doing? Right? How do I plan? How do I act? I think I'm deeply involved in my discipline enough to know what it is that I'm going to be, what I'm going to get out of it, an opportunity or something of that nature. So I can plan ahead according to that because I understand how the arts world works for me. So just taking action on those things. The processes are all very similar and familiar. So a lot of my things are already available for me to just kind of participate or do things, and then being able to just see just a little bit ahead. So like last year when there was virtual teaching at the end of the semester, this time last year, I wasn't sure I wanted to go back into teaching after this because I was like, I want to be moving, so I don't want to be stuck in Norfolk teaching. But as the summer started to progress, it was like, well, there could be opportunities to teach virtually. And I determined because of the COVID, like I had originally had plans to maybe move a little bit sooner, but because of COVID, it was like, let's take some time. Let's really like pace this out and make sure it makes sense and I can get the most out of it. I made a plan and I wrote down what things could happen, what could work. I was like, all right, I need this amount of money to safely do what I want to do. And so I just started working towards it. I found opportunities for it. I started, I said yes to a lot more projects or opportunities to make sure that I could amass as much as I could. But, I based everything that I wanted to do off of the lowest amount that I would need or that I could get. And actually, I overshot that, by a large margin. So by the end of the semester, or that last fall semester last year, I was able to plan out that, or there was an opportunity to be able to teach virtually. And so that was a way to, add on to it. So, so yeah, I think I just got in a rhythm of action and things work in momentum for me. I have like great momentum rollouts. And so like, when I put the right plan, like when the thing is right for me to do, like it'll all roll into it, whether opportunity, comes in my favor or it doesn't, like it all plays out. So I missed some, I didn't get some opportunities that I wanted, but then I got one. So it all, panned out. And that was just being, keeping my ear to the streets and taking the work and projects that I wanted to do.
Yeah. Writing out the plan and catching momentum and riding.
Oh, right. And there was one last thing I wanted to say because it was in relation to kind of what Maurice had said about it was more so write it out. Look, wrong page. This one.
We showing notebooks. We showing notebooks. You know what I'm saying?
The back of the sheet. we don't waste no space.
Oh, that's my title.
And this is just from when I've been here. You know what I mean?
Nice.
But yeah, like documents. Like we can, when we might think of something that we want to do, like it might be like starting a YouTube channel or something like that. This is what happened to me last year. Like right when I was about to like launch my YouTube channel around like February or January, I saw a couple other people that I knew in the area of Norfolk and 757 about to launch theirs, and it almost pushed me away from doing my own because I was like, I'm going to miss all the attention because they gonna get it and somebody else is doing it. So what makes me any more unique or different? But I had to remind myself why I was doing it. So I was like, all right, but my why is different, and I would, as opposed to like shunning myself away from seeing what they were doing and like allowing that to like scare me away from what I wanted to do. I went even further into like investigate what it was that they were doing so that I could actually see how different it was and why it wasn't in my lane and why I could keep doing what I wanted to do. And so,
what he was talking about, though, is something I just learned about today in more detail. Is doing oh, there he is. He's still there. Oh, my bad.
Oh, right. Yeah. And so that continues to occur. So, I just, I have to continue to remind myself that if I find interest in something, I got to push through my interest before I allow myself to like let the rest of the world exploration in some of those same fields like push me away. Like, oh, somebody else I know is already into it, so there's no point in me trying to be into it. Like, if I want to do it, I should do it. You know what I mean? To whatever extent that I plan on investing myself into it, and that's the careful assessment of investments. Write that one down. Y'all can go next.
Ooh, he's dropping nuggets. Dropping nuggets. Had that drop the mic moment. Hey, we got mics to drop now. Not playing.
Give me your mic so I can drop it.
Give me the mic. But no, I think that's deep though. Doing your competitive analysis, careful assessment of your investments and action. Don't forget, Maurice led with action, careful assessment of your investments. Okay, we dropping the lessons now. We're putting the game plan together. Take action, carefully assess your investments. Majida, talk about your implementation plan.
I think similar to Maurice, it was just taking the next step. And if I had to kind of define it in a few words, I would say seek discomfort. Because I think for me, that was really what the shift was, right? Like I kept going into uncomfortable spaces. I kept doing uncomfortable things. And so that's really, I think, what allowed me to grow as much as I did, was seeking discomfort. Like right now, like I'm super uncomfortable um, because I'm challenging myself to grow to another level, and I'm getting some coaching. Shout out to Kay Bridges, um, Kaisha, for assisting me in that area of development. But like I'm uncomfortable, right? I'm getting the coaching from her, and like I feel uncomfortable, but I know like that's the push that I need to develop a new identity, right? Like not stay mired in my old identity, but embrace a new identity and
I
one
don't
that.
know. Kay just got a way of making people feel uncomfortable anyway.
Look,
Shout
don't make me
out
call her on
to
the call.
KBU.
Is my mic working?
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to Kay Bridges, branding coach, the new BU branding coach. We're working on that as well. Go ahead, my J.
So yeah, that's all I would say. Seek discomfort. Because that's where you what does it say? It says there's no growth inside your comfort zone. So like when you get
Wow.
that, if this is should I be doing this? If you're uncomfortable doing it, yes, that's exactly what you should be doing. Right. And it's not to say that like you don't have it's not to say that you don't, like you said, get into a flow, right? But I think if you ever feel stuck, you get to a point where like I don't know what to do next, you need to seek discomfort. You need to do or find somebody that can help you move in a different direction. So that would be my that's how I'll say I was able to implement over this past year. I was just like, I took the time that we were home, and invested in learning new skills, or I took a course on building websites. I invested in another course about using webinars to grow your business. And like, not everything worked, right? Like, I'm not even gonna be like, oh yeah, I invested in everything and everything worked. Like, but I was exposed to some like I was exposed to where I needed to grow to, and that in and of itself, that learning that lesson was of value. So that's all I got.
Oh, absolutely. And man, I know you have so much more, but that's another thing. Taking action, seeking discomfort, catching momentum in action, carefully assessing your investments. I think that's just huge. So what was the key to my implementation? For me, it was literally writing and casting the vision. Writing, casting the vision, and living for that vision, selling out, going all in for the vision. I had to look at the camera on this one. So one thing that I'm learning, especially within the accountability group that I'm working with, is there's many people who are moving and running and acting and doing things in all kinds of directions. And they could be getting things done, but not getting things done in the direction of the free and fulfilling life that they're looking for. And so something that's always been a guiding, compass or a guide is the destination for me was set a long time ago, right? And being able to clarify, like I literally had a milestone vision moment this past year, sitting in the Red Wolf Lodge with my sister, where I imagined being in a lodge with, family. Now I imagined it, right? In my vision, there was me and a couple of little children running around in this log or wood cabin looking place. And I knew that there was another body there. I always imagined it would be like my partner or my spouse, right? In that lodge, now in the vision, the way it played, when I saw it, I was just like, wow, like a real life, like vision moment that I have seen and envisioned like for years, since like 21. I was just like, yo, within my mid 30s, like around 34, 35, I'm going to be in this lodge with this fan. Like, I literally saw that years ago. And then to like step into it, like, oh, you're not kidding with this thing. All right. And the one thing that I learned from that experience and from experiences of the last year is you don't have to wait for it. And I don't want to get you, I don't want to get you wrong. Like, you do have to put in the time, but the things that you want in your life, if you can imagine it and write out a plan to achieve it, you can have it. You know, like Mitch is talking about setting a timeline, right? But writing it, and when I say casting, I mean like speaking it and selling out every step of the way. Every day you live for that vision, right? The vision that I had for me at age 50 or around that age, 50, I'm seeing, oh, I could have that at 40, right? So like the investment that I put in myself over the last 14 years or so, over the last 14, 15 years, for a vision that would be 15 years away from today, it's like just by being faithful to the vision, I received an advance on the vision, right? Like I'm living in the vision. And again, it still hasn't all played out, but like literally, oh, wait, see, when I put things off in the vision, I don't see them until then in the vision. But if I allow the vision to come to me, like if I reach out and really just stretch myself, as my Jesus talked about, being uncomfortable, stretching yourself into the vision, forming yourself like clay to that vision, that you can have it. And what I'm seeing, I had a client working. It's a background noise. I'm so sorry.
We don't hear it.
I hear it.
I hear it too. I think. All right.
It's the echo
Either
off
way.
my Gina computer.
Oh, so
Yeah, I hear it. Sound like about 4 people walking through the stream.
it does,
now.
right? They just the ants go marching. All right. But no, what really helped me to implement was staying true to what I wrote in my vision at the beginning of last year, that my focus was all of my energy was going to go into teaching, coaching, and trading, teaching, coaching, trading. And then I realized I needed to put family. So I had those 4 buckets. And if it wasn't going in one of those 4 buckets, I wasn't putting energy towards it. If it wasn't about family, if it wasn't about teaching, if it wasn't about coaching, if it wasn't about trading, I wasn't putting energy toward it. And man, it's amazing the way the Lord can work to accelerate on a timeline, things that you can only imagine and dream, right? To imagine that I have a community around that's just like, man, like, they ain't here doing accountability. Like I'm here and they're running that, man. We've been together 2 months, but they showing up faithfully, right? Because of a vision that was cast, and not just cast to me, but cast over them, right? And they're working to build their own vision, man. I had a guy who said he's been struggling with a business idea and hold it for 4 years. 4 years, he's just been sitting on it. And in 45 minutes, I'm saying, man, this is your vision. Like all that's missing, I have to do all that's missing is this little piece. And he was just like, wow. He started the business the next day. Something that he had been put off for 4 years that was in his vision, right? But that's what my Jesus talk about, getting help, getting a coach, finding a mentor, somebody who can cast that vision, right? Where you can't see it, like that can see you where you can't see yourself. So like all my energy moving forward is toward filling the blind spots of my own vision moving forward. And to me, that's how I'm gonna implement, is just continuing to sell out and not having any kind of fear or like, oh man, I had a moment the other week, man, I invested in a program and I was just like, man, I ain't never made an investment like this before. But it was like, it's the right time, right? And I'm scared, but I'm excited because I know from the work that I'm going to do by being sold out into it, overflow, absolute overflow. And I'm seeing the fruit of it already, just in the people that are being introduced to me in the last 3 days. So that's my secret to success, right? I don't want to steal that from the team. That's our seer secrets. We've got taking action, get momentum. We've got Analyze your investments. He worded it so nicely though. Who was it again?
Carefully
assess your investments, right? Seek out discomfort and write and cast your vision, man. I may need to work on ordering it because some people they take action first without any vision. I would encourage like write the vision and then put all of the action into discomfort while carefully analyzing your investments along the way or up front, right?
Kiss.
What's that?
Kiss.
Keep it super simple.
Just act. Just act.
Just act.
Just act, bro. The path will be revealed.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You put one foot in front of the other, the rest will show up. It helps when you know what path you're on, though.
Well, I mean, you're right. You're right. You're right. I agree with that. I guess kind of what I'm saying is
it all
falls under taking action.
What's that?
Like it all falls under taking action.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? Like to me, the worst thing you can do is not take action, is not do any of the stuff that we talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, let's not dismiss that. Like writing is an act of faith.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. You know what I mean? Like take the action. If all you can do is write it down, then do that. Like I've heard Majida say this before. Like you want to save X amount of percentage of your income, but if you can't save that, save half. If you can't do that, start with half of that. If you got to start at 1%, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Life is a marathon. That's another thing that comes to mind with that, man. Momentum. Mensa just talked about that key, the flywheel, Jeff Olson, right? Like you got to get the thing going. You need those small successes. You get what I'm saying? So if you can just like your group is doing, just show up. How about that? Take the action. Just show up. All right. And then when you show up, maybe somebody will suggest in the group, give you an idea, and an hour later, now you've went over the hill. Right? You know what I'm saying? I'm a cheetah. I'm looking out on the plains. I don't see anything. I don't see any food. So I go get up in the tree and I look from a different vantage point. Now I can see food out on the horizon now because I changed my perspective. So I guess what I'm saying is just go a little bit further. So, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This is very dear and dear to me, and it's probably may not y'all may not identify with this, but I'm one of those people, man, like for me what works is just I kind of said this already, I don't want to reiterate it, but for me what works is just taking the next step. Just it's like the next step is always available. Like that's always available. The next simplest thing, you know what I mean? And I don't know if I would be one to say that I bear witness to life working like that, man. Like sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes you're not clear, but not being clear is not permission to not act. Mm-hmm. We use it as an excuse to not act sometimes, but in reality, not being clear is not. I think you know, I'm not God. I don't know how God thinks, but I think God would say, "Yo, if you got faith, act." Well, I'm not going to act because I don't see the whole thing. All right. Well, you know, like you got like what do you see? You get what I'm saying? Like act on what you do see, you know, take the steps that you can take, do what you can do, eat the food that is on your plate. You get what I'm saying? You know, use what you do have first. I think that's very, very critical because you can easily allow a lack of clarity, which we all have. We all have that. You can easily allow that to be the permission slip to stop. I didn't know what to do. But that's not a good enough reason not to do something. I guess that's kind of what I mean by that. Just like take act when you don't know. Just take a little bit of action. Just take some action. And the next few feet, they always open up to you.
I love that. I have something I want to say, but I want to hear from my G and Mensa first. I want to hear any feedback toward Maurice.
I just wanted to retell what he just said through an experience of mine. So like when I was working on my thesis during my master's program, and you know, that was the part that the artist doesn't want to do. You got to sit and write and put together information when I'd rather be creating, right? But knowing that I had to put together, you know, I didn't have like a page limit, but knowing I had to put together this document of so many pages, so much information, I had to relay it. Easily I could go in the studio one day and just like not feel like or not know what to do, not like just turn on Hulu or something and just watch shows all day in my studio. But then there was times where I was like, I don't. Let me just write a page. Let me just make a little bit of progress. Let me just do that. And I found way more joy and power in being able to be like, all right, if my goal is to just like, let me just at least write one page today, I will get through that page. And then sometimes I might work a little bit more, or just keep it at that. But it got me, you got some that momentum, right? It got that momentum kicking where it's like, all right, cool. Now I can start taking some action. I can start seeing where this is going. Because when I got that, once I got that information out of my head and into where it's supposed to exist, then I can see where it's supposed to, what's supposed to come next. But if you don't take that first step, you don't know what the next step is supposed to be, or what you gotta find that next challenge, and you just kind of move through that momentum that way. And so yeah, I totally agree with you were saying about just taking that small step. The same thing like you could be like that with taxes. Like I know I was doing that last year with taxes. I was like, I don't want to do my taxes right now because I know I'm gonna have to get all this information together. But I also knew like, all right, I know I have a tax return from like a job, and that's easy to do. Like I can easily do that and get it started, and then I can deal with the stuff where I got to fill in more information and do some extra research and pull all my stuff together. But just taking a little step at a time so that I can get those things off my plate, focus on more important things that need to take more of my creative energy and things of that nature. So yeah, I totally agree with that, man. Just take a little bit of action. And like you said, everything is an action, writing it down. Let me think, what was that? That was where that's where I was at with researching the new, like artistic avenues. Like, all right, I looked into it. I was like, all right, I'm curious. I just started researching. And I was all over the place. I went and sent emails out real quick or filled out applications and realized I didn't even need to do those. But once I learned that, it took me to another place. And then I figured out how the thing worked. And so I was like, all right, I understand this a little bit better. But you just got to take those actions, man. Take the little actions. Like everything's an action. But like it's easier to take action. You can take action that's not related to your path. But again, it's just like failing. Like, once you know that that's not the way you want to go, now you know how much you can forget about or ignore, and you can act and course correct, like you even said with Carl. Like that's when you can course correct. Like, all right, this isn't the avenue I need to be doing this in. Let me slide to the left. 2 house this time. Not playing.
To the right. Oh man, that's inside. I want to tell that story on our journey another time. But yeah, I hear action. Action is huge. Majida, any responses to Maurice or Mensa?
I mean, I would agree with what they've shared, and for people who are like I don't know what to do, your action is to figure out what to do, right? Like that's and I'll share from my own journey this past year. I was much like Maurice. I'm like if I just do, then like I'll produce, I'll get results, right? And then eventually I got to a point where I'm like, all right, I'm producing, I'm getting results, but I don't really feel fulfilled in doing it, right? I don't really know why I'm doing it. And I wasn't very clear on like the picture, like what am I doing this all for? And so I had to like pause the first quarter of this year and like take the time and write it down, right? Because I was one of the people like I ain't finna write down nothing that I can just take action on, right? Like it's in my head, I'm gonna just do whatever. But I spent the time because it's just like I don't want to just be like running in circles, and making. And this is the way that I like to say it to my clients. You can make progress or you can make movement in a certain direction, but if you don't know what the destination is, you could be going in the wrong direction, right? You're moving, you're not clear on like what are you moving towards. And so for myself, I had to get clear on what I'm moving towards, and that really helped me. I think I shared with you all some time ago to like I now can see myself being an authority in my industry, right? Like I can embrace that identity, whereas before I'm like, no, I'm in the background. I just want to help people. I wasn't nobody financial conductor, right? Like I didn't identify myself that way. But now I see the opportunity to make more of an impact by embracing it. And it's uncomfortable because I don't like being on camera. I don't necessarily like interacting or engaging with people or
Don't tell them that. She's not lying though. She's not lying.
I don't like this.
Neither do I.
So no, I mean, but I had to learn myself, right? Like that's something that I got when I had to pause and kind of figure out, like, all right, like where am I going? I got what our brother Peter shared the grounds crew call with Carl Phillips, who's part of Eric Thomas and Associates, and that grounds crew call, part of investing in that program was an assessment, and that assessment actually allowed me to like figure out what my preference were, right? Because I found myself or learned that my tendency is often to help other people, right? Support other people. So I'm willing to push other people into the limelight, into the spotlight. Look, hey, that's your gift, right? I'm the background. Let me just roll in the background, and recognizing that like my purpose is greater than my preference, and so I can be selfish and just be like, I don't want to do that, but it's what I'm called to do, right? Like I'm called to be of assistance, to be helpful to people in the area of finance. And I had a confidence because of what I've been exposed to over the past year by investing in other programs. I'm like, why? I'm listening to other people who may not have the license that I have, who may not have the right, but they understand the concepts enough, right, in terms of financial literacy. Like they're sharing this with people, and people trust them because of who they are, right, and the position that they're in. Like why am I shying away from being able to impact more people, right? Right, because I'm being right because I'm not gonna say really out of fear, right, but just out of being comfortable, right? Like I like having time to myself. I like having time to just think. And so recognizing that about myself, like I can engage with people, but I need to do it on my terms, right? Like I can't allow people to inundate me with their problems because my nature is to help them solve their problem. But if I give all my energy away, I don't have anything to fill me back up. So um, making sure that I fill my cup so that I have something to pour out. And so that is really going to be my focus over the next year is really, um, I was going to say, I'm going to use the term because that's what came to mind, dominating my daily schedule, right? Like I'm going to control my schedule. I will not allow other people to dictate how I utilize my time. Like it's going to be how I choose to. So like when we get off of here tonight, because my goal for today, or my I will for today, my accountability for today was to revise my 168. And I was supposed to do this a couple weeks ago, but allowing other things to take precedence. Like I will tonight, before I go to rest, make sure that I clarify how I want to invest my time on a daily and weekly basis and hold myself accountable to that schedule, in order for me to be able to give the best version of myself when I am engaging with people, when I am able to serve people. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm at.
Oh man, I like how you turn that corner to say if you don't know what direction to act in, that's the action that you need is to figure it out, right? And you know what? Y'all selling my coaching program for me. I'm glad I waited for y'all to speak.
But I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, just to piggyback on that, like it's to seek wise counsel, right? Like when I didn't know anything about money, I had to find somebody who did so they could teach me. When I didn't know how to invest in real estate, I had to find somebody who understood it so I could learn from them, right? So when you don't know what to do or you don't, right? So that grounds crew training for me was me figuring out, okay, you're stuck, you don't know what, right? And so once I got that clarity, I'm like, all right, this is what I want my life to look like, right? Taking the time to just sit down, get clear, right? Life is going to happen. There's always going to be stuff to do, but like I can't allow the urgent to overshadow the important, right? And what's important is clarity, right? Like it's hard to move without clarity. Um,
I want to speak on that briefly because I was thinking about that this past week, and I want you to dig into that just a little bit and elaborate on that. It's hard to move forward without clarity. I found myself thinking that several times, right? And I can't remember what triggered the thought this past week, but I'm driving a truck, so I'm always getting a chance to be deep into thought, right? What made me think about this and say that I wanted to ask y'all about this is because I had a degree of clarity when I always refer back to the example of Mary and Yasmin, right? Because that was an example where I can't say I was clear. I can't say I was clear enough. I won't even looking at you. I don't even know what you did just now. I was looking in the viewfinder. You gonna attack me for being real with you?
You want what? You want better than kill my sister?
I was clear enough to know that what I envisioned could work. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it was a lot of stuff that I just didn't see, didn't think through, didn't, you know what I mean? Like anybody in their right, like everybody, matter of fact, everybody was like, yo, you sure you want to do this, bro?
This is like, I'm out here in California. I don't know what I got into.
You sure you want to do this, bro?
It was like that for me too.
But I mean, I was sure, and I haven't had many things like that in my life that like same. I guess it's kind of be the same way when I got into Kirby. It was the same way when I got into Kirby. I wasn't that clear. I was clear enough to make the decision, but I wasn't that clear. But when the opportunity came, it was just like, bam. I mean, like, can't get the thought out of my mind. That type of compulsion. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And again, that just hit me this past week because those were two examples that I didn't necessarily feel as clear as I know that I like to feel. Like me, the type of personality that I am, it's like I would like to have it laid out, even though it don't lay itself out like that for me most of the time. I would like to have it laid out, but those were two opportunities where it wasn't laid out in front of me like that. I didn't see it. I didn't envision it. I didn't write it down. It just hit me. You know what I'm saying? And it resonated with me so much when it hit me because I guess you could say I had a clear enough understanding of what I didn't want that when what I did want showed up in front of me, it's like, that's it right there. I ain't got to think about it. I ain't got to hesitate. I don't need to do nothing. I don't need to go home and talk to nobody about it. I don't need to do none of that really. You know what I mean? But those are two prime examples that I wasn't that clear though.
Well, and I think that speaks to like certainty, right? Like you may not have been clear, but you were certain.
You doing?
Y'all singing my language right now. Y'all speaking all my languages right now. Go ahead, Jeter.
Yeah, you might not have been clear, but you were certain. Like
I was damn sure certain.
Huh?
I was damn sure certain.
Right. So you may not have been clear on like what would evolve from making that decision, but you knew it was the right decision. Like it was just something, like it just spoke to you, it was the same way for me in finance. Like when John was like, hey, you want to come work with me? Sure. I didn't know what to expect. At the time it was just something to do. And now 10 years later, I'm looking back like this was like, I'm supposed to be here, right? Like I was meant for this, I was built for this. And so I think those moments are the ones that we need to pay more attention to, because those are like that certainty should exist in all of the decisions that we make, right? If we're toying with what decision to make, like think back when right, if you're unsure, it's probably not the decision that you need to make. But if it's something that's like, yeah, I need to do this, right? Like it just speaks to you, don't really have rhyme or reason, but it's the next step. And do it, So I think getting more in tune to that inner voice that kind of speaks to you and lets you know that like this is where you need to go. So
I'm a Scorpio. I got a lot of that.
Oh man, no,
Like
but
seriously, like Scorpio, like that's what we are. We're a feeling sign. We're an emotional sign, and we go with our emotions in that sense.
no, that brings me really back to the point that I was thinking about as you all were speaking as well, how you can act like, but even inaction is an action, right? And Majida talked about what direction are you acting in? What's that?
We're live on YouTube.
Yeah. What up, YouTube?
I'm trying to get it close enough where y'all can see.
No, you see it.
There you go.
What's up? What up? What up?
Ain't nobody on there.
You know
Go
what,
ahead, bro?
we go correct that. We gonna get that.
We
Hey,
gonna
what's up?
cash
ain't
it.
nothing to correct.
Right
We do.
on time, Yvette. Welcome, boo. Yes. All right. So we were just talking about acting in the right direction, and it was. I will tell you the decision that solidified me connecting with her, which really caused a lot of dominoes to fall in place. This is before last year, probably a couple of months before, this time last year, was I was looking for that bit of certainty, right? And I found certainty with someone. Like I wasn't looking for anybody, but it was their certainty that I knew I could grow into, right? It was their certainty that, we talk about having mentors or having people around you, people to associate with. Hey, but it was her certainty that I connected with, and I was like, see, that's what's been missing in my life. Like I've had all of these ideas and all this direction, but to have a certain direction or certain individual that I could always, set as my rock or my North Star, that's really what drove me in the direction of making family, teaching and coaching and all of those things, the direction I'm moving in. And it's acting in faith, in the direction of faith, as opposed to direction of fear. And there's a lot of people find when they implement on their life plan, they're often acting not in faith, but in the direction of fear. They're asking themselves, what if it goes wrong, as opposed to, well, what would life be like if I didn't jump on this opportunity, right? What could I actually gain when I walk into it, as opposed to what do I stand to lose, right? And I know it takes a really discerning person, because there's a whole lot of tricksters and scammers and all kinds of stuff out there. However, if you've got your compass tuned in the right direction, if your compass is tuned in the direction of faith, man, the scammers, man, you'll blow them away. Like, oh no, that ain't legit. And I'm not gonna lie, like I've been entertaining them. They've been coming out the woodworks during this pandemic time, and I'll be like, let me see how legit, like how long you gonna keep this facade up, right? Let me see how long you can. They persistent. They don't give up because they're used to converting on people's fear like that. They don't give up. So if the scammers and the fakers and the jammers are working that hard, why not you? Right?
I don't see more things about.
Go ahead, yo.
I was about to say, I done seen more things about scammers and conners over the past like 2 weeks that I can imagine.
Bruh, I swear every week is a new Bitcoin account that's jumping in my inbox.
I've been seeing it's a bunch of Ponzi scheme like articles that I've been reading about people that have just been like hustling, large companies and just doing what they got to do. Like it's crazy how like they amass millions of dollars illegally, but they tricking, getting so many people to believe in something. Like it's that there's a power in that to like, there's a certain quality you got to have to convince people that what you're pitching is true. Now imagine those people had like real like good intentions behind what they were doing and how they could really affect change in that way.
Positive change. They affect change, but positive change. Yeah.
So, I've heard before that people that really teach real marketing. I'm talking about like the old school cats that really teach the essence of what marketing is, the type of marketing that's been around forever and gonna be around forever. The people that teach those principles, like they'll let you know sometime in the beginning of their course, yo, this stuff can be used for good or evil.
Mm-hmm.
Like influence can be used for good or evil, 100%.
Well,
Yeah, I could definitely, and that's part of like the conversation that I had, and that's something that I've learned to the conversation that I had with Kay, but I've also learned from listening to ET. You know, they talk about it all the time on their podcast how there's so many more people who are pretending or who are, you know, tricking people, or like they're promoting an image. They're not authentic though, like they're
mhm.
promoting some ideal that they're not necessarily living. And so like it's necessary for what I think it's a quote that says that um and I know I don't have it verbatim, but if for evil to prevail only requires for
Good
good.
Good
men to do
man.
nothing,
Hmm.
And
or good
so
people to do nothing.
yeah, I think that's kind of like where we are right now. Like there's so much more access to masses of people, right? Like I can hop on social media and be in front of hundreds of thousands or millions of people and have an impact. And I get to decide whether that impact is for good or for evil. And that responsibility, and I think is something that we shouldn't take lightly. And so I'm aware of that. Like part of my conversation with Kay was like, I don't know if I want to do X, Y, and Z. Right? There's discomfort there, but it's because I want to maintain a good reputation with people. I want to maintain, high character. Right? Yeah, my integrity. And she wasn't asking me to do anything illegal or anything like that, or anything that was like, but no. It was all good stuff. But like I was uncomfortable because I'm like, oh, but if I do that, then that's going to, set me apart. But also understanding that when you provide value, you deserve to ask for compensation, right? Like there's nothing wrong in doing that. Um, but when you're used to adding value for free, it's it's hard to ask for compensation. So that's just an area that I have to grow in terms of being willing to ask for what I believe my time is worth, right? So I said, like, I'm working on dominating my routine, dominating my daily routine. And so in order to do that, I have to value my time. And time comes at a cost, right? Like time comes, and if I don't value it, I can't expect other people to. So
Mm. And here's one thing that I learned recently is man, when you're operating in your true value, the cost of what you do goes up every day. Because every day you add to your experience is another day you could charge somebody for that extra experience you build it into it. Right? So this thing getting more expensive by the day, by the hour, right? Because of if you keep pouring into yourself, and if you don't do anything different, you don't continue to develop or to grow, like your values is stuck where it is. But if you continue to pour into yourself, the value of the time that you're saving others by being able to share what you know and what you could do for them, it's increasing every day. So that to me is what appreciation is all
yeah,
about. Like, do you know your worth, man? I think that may be a good conversation as we round out to a year and see and launch a new year. Like, what's the vision? Of course, we're gonna talk about the vision next time. We're gonna bring this plane down to the ground, right? We're gonna talk about the vision a bit next time. Mensa, it's great to have you here, man. Would love to continue to have you guest come in and share your insights and your wisdom and your experience. Let us know what projects you're going on and get some people on the ground out in San Diego working with you. Maurice, congratulations getting the truck out there on the road. I know you didn't mention it, but you done had a couple celebrity moments with your community and all the people that follow it. I think those have been really cool.
Let me share these two things real quick. I forgot to say.
Go ahead.
Starting another podcast, I believe, with Chris Ward. Actually, he's the guy that I met at the truck stop a couple of weeks ago. We've been talking back and forth. And we think this will be interesting, man, because we're totally different from each other. Like Chris is a European guy, right? He's a country guy. He talks like this right here. Been out on the road for probably 5-10 years. He drives regional all up and down the East Coast. That's how he talks. He's a country guy. He's cool, but he's a country guy. I have a totally different personality than him, right? He does a regional truck driving job. He's out for 5, 6, 8 weeks at a time, maybe. I'm a local owner operator. I come home every night. So there's so many differences between us. But we're going to start this trucking podcast talking about the one profession of driving a truck. He came up with the phrase, two drivers, one job, basically. Because we're talking about two different perspectives on the same job. What's that? What are you laughing at? What I miss? Did I miss something?
The reference?
What reference? What do you mean? Anyway,
I don't even want to say it.
Yeah, he came up with the catchphrase, basically, two drivers, one job. So he kind of came up with the catchphrase and the idea to do the podcast. I was
I said he's funny. I'll tell you after the podcast.
he has a lot of skills. He used to run a radio show in college. He said he does build websites and he does stuff with servers, and he's a gamer. So he built his own computer that he plays games when he's out on the road. And I'm like, how you even get Wi-Fi in your truck? You know what I mean? So he has a lot of skill sets that I don't have. And also he's a totally different personality. So I'm like, this right here might could work, man. We could, you know what I mean? Like if we figure out a creative, constructive way to exploit and at the same time respect each other's differences and perspectives on trucking, and like I would never do what he does. I ain't no way in the world I'm going out for 2 months away on the road, and he would never do what I do. But we doing the same job, you know what I mean? So we can give people that's looking at the truck and looking at coming in trucking a lot of perspective just by us two. We already did one episode. We got on yesterday, stayed on for probably about an hour. Probably really got 2 10 or 15 minute episodes out of there. The plan going forward is to do 10 of them. We're just going to hop on whenever we can for 30, 45 minutes. We're going to do 10 of them. When we get to 10, now we're going to do 10. When we get to 10 that we like, because we going back and listening to them as we do them. When we get to 10 that we like, then we're going to decide whether we're going to put them on YouTube, Facebook, and how we're going to move forward with it. But we kind of already started right there with that. And I'm kind of excited about that, actually. I'm looking to gel with this guy right here. I want to see what can come out of it. I'm really interested and curious about it. And one last thing, I'm going to shut up. I've been driving my truck since August the 1st with no insurance, bruh. With no insurance on the truck. The proper type of insurance policy that you're supposed to have is $100,000 insurance on your truck and $1 million worth of insurance on the cargo that you're carrying. So if you get into an accident, you tear up somebody's cargo, you're supposed to have $1 million worth of stuff. I've been driving the truck all week with no insurance, bro. I went to turn in some paperwork today and they needed my insurance, and I looked through it and I saw the description on the insurance card, and it's got a different truck on the insurance card. I'm like, bruh, this is not my truck. And the agent, it was his fault, really. It was his fault. It was his fault. He's like, yeah, ain't no big deal. Bro, it is a big deal. I'm driving the truck right now. Like, I'm driving right now, bro. I'm like, yo, he's like, I'm going to call you right back. And I'm like, all right, man, look, you're going to call me back, right? Do I need to take the truck home and park it right now? Because I'm illegal. I'm hot as hell right now.
Wow.
Man, we got it straight, man. But I can't help but to think what would have happened if I would have got stopped by the DOT or the state trooper. They'd have been like, yo, you don't have no insurance on your truck. I don't even know what would have happened, man. But I did get it straight. I had to throw that out there, man. Driving the truck since August the 1st with no freaking insurance, man.
April 1st?
Since April 1st, excuse me. Since April the 1st with no insurance, G. Oh, that was scary when I found that out, man. I let my insurance agent have a piece of my mind, though. I know that. I really did. I absolutely did. I'm going to shut up. I had to throw that out there, though.
Yeah, 8 months versus 8 days.
No, not 8 months. 8 days. Not 8 months.
I was just like,
no, April the 1st. But that's long enough.
He got caught up in that April Fools. It's like,
my pop has 2 trucks. He put the wrong one on my policy.
Oh yeah.
agents mess up. Like, you're not supposed to just assume which truck's going on the policy. You're supposed to be like, yo, I need the VIN number of the truck you putting on the policy, man. I looked at the description. I'm like, bruh, I'm gonna need you to tighten up, homie. I told him that. Yasmin called him the other day and he never returned the call. I'm like, look, we're not gonna start off like this, okay? We're not gonna start off like this. I need you to get your sugar honey iced tea together, my brother.
Well, I'm glad that you're getting it straight out.
Yeah, I got it straight immediately.
Well, hey, listen, guys. It's 90 minutes, man. So we counting down. Hey, appreciate everybody that chimed in the future, in the present. It's been, I don't know, man. It's been a great year, this year. And I'm only looking forward to them getting better and better as we continue to implement, level up, raise our IQ. I think a lot of value came out of this conversation. And I'm looking forward to seeing, and I don't say this too often, but I'm excited about how the conversation will continue to grow as we share this, our story, our journey, our way. Before we get out of here, let the people know, Maurice, where can they find you?
Google the helpful trucker. I'm not hard to find. Just Google the helpful trucker.
Nice. Majida, where do they find you?
Ronnie Bay Enterprises on Facebook, Majida Bay on Instagram.
I love it. And Mensa.
mbayarts.com or on Instagram, mbayarts. That'll link you to everything I got. Got the Linktree Agency Arts. April Age is going on right now. It's super fun, getting a lot of fun interaction. So appreciate all the support. I think all three of you will be featured in this. So that's what's up. I appreciate y'all jumping in there and giving me something to do this month.
Definitely. Let us know. I'm seeing them and they looking phenomenal, man. My man on the couch into the pictures behind her. Like that was smooth. That was smooth today. And you can find me at b.o.bay. That's Coach Bo Bay World on Facebook. Also Bobay _world on Instagram. Also Bacaro Bay on LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn for sure. So we're getting the coaching done. And at the new Habit to Greatness. That's HABIT, the number 2, greatness. And if you can't spell greatness, you probably need to hit me up.
You don't want to. You really don't want to be working with nobody that can't spell greatness. That's just a joke. So don't want to take no shots at anybody that can't spell greatness. We love you.
Oh man, yeah, we love, man. We got love for everybody. We love you all. Appreciate you. I'm just having fun. I'm poking fun, man. I don't want to talk down to nobody, but no, we really do love you. Appreciate the support, and looking forward to growing and helping you. Definitely, you can also check us out at Seer Mastermind Group. That's S.E.A.R Mastermind Group on Facebook. As we are live, there's 2 groups. Join the public one so that you can get the podcast live every other Friday night. Okay, perfect. Well, Seer Mastermind Group, you know where we are. We'll add the links and all of the things in the chats at some point in the future. And if they're not there, don't blame me. No, we'll get it done for you though. But appreciate you guys, man. Keep rocking with us. Keep hanging out. And you can find us individually. Also, we've got pages here on YouTube where you can find some more content that we're putting out as we continue to develop and grow. Your support, encouragement, accountability, and
recognition.
Yes. We got to change that to results.
Giving out game. Guidance, attention, motivation, and education. How about that one?
Ooh, okay. Games. I see you.
I just made that up just now as we was talking.
Guidance, attention, motivation, education. Hey, I'll put you in the game. I got people doing the math, yo. Mindset, attitude, time management, habits. Like, what's up?
There you go. See, he just made that up just now too.
Nah, I've been working on that one all week. All right, y'all. Listen, have a great night, have a great week, and we'll see y'all in a couple of weeks.
Peace.